Welcome everyone to this special edition of the Wayback Tech, and this video we're going to be recording this on vintage television equipment, well, home television equipment, VHS-C camcorder, JVC. Figured I'd dig this old girl out and give it a test run. So, I've been seeing lately the last few weeks that there's been this Doscember theme thing going on YouTube, so I figured I'd throw my two Lincoln heads into the pile and do a video for that. This is the motherboard, one of the motherboards, many motherboards I have. Guys can't have enough motherboards, apparently. This is an all-ISA motherboard, and this is a build I've been stockpiling parts for a couple years now. This is a board that's known as the Predator, or just Predator. And it's got everything. Probably, no, maybe not quite the kitchen sink because it doesn't have onboard video, but it does have onboard IDE, floppy, printer port, PS2, yes, PS2, although it might be Microsoft mouse port, we'll have to see. And to serial, we like serial, and a DX50. Just like that. And had the crappy Dallas RTC garbage here. So I've already shot this video once with this camera, and it was in black and white because I had it in a video mode that I didn't know was black and white because the viewfinder is black and white. So we're redoing this here. This had, which I don't have, well, I'll do it, maybe I do have to hand. Yeah. So this was the RTC that was in the motherboard, Symphony brand, and that is dead. I have a bag of brand new, supposedly brand new Dallas RTCs. Yeah, all of them are dead. Although one kept the date and time, but wouldn't keep anything else. The motherboard is been decapitated. One capacitor's been decapitated. So this might be a Doscember video instead of Doscember. The cap is still right there. The motherboard was having issues of freezing up. I couldn't get the page down to work in the BIOS, so that sucked. That turned out just to be the keyboard. Apparently my old CTX keyboard, those keys are now bad for some reason. This brand new Memorex keyboard that I brought out of the package, I got it Goodwill at some point. $5, great deal, brand new, that works. Multimedia, got the little adapter right there. So we got that issue fixed. The occasional freezing thing was I would touch the chip here, which says Diaco or Diaco or Daco, or you can, you know, in the comments down below tell me what that is supposed to be pronounced as, but it's made in USA, so that's good. This chip I had to touch up the solder joints because when I would touch it just a little bit it would freeze. So I think I've got that taken care of. I did find I had to rob this benchmark RTC from one of my P60 boards. That works, so I'll be ordering some more of those because I never have Dallas RTCs that work. So this is like 25 years old, it still works, so I'm going to order a few of those and just see what my luck is on those. Dual 486 and 386. Under here is the middle pinout for the MCP math coprocessor for the 386 socket. So this makes it a nice comparison motherboard, shall we? Apples to apples platform to test the 386 versus 486. Of course, you know the 486 is going to blow the 386 out of the water, but you know, 128K populates this motherboard right now. Can go up to 256K, but I think for right now we're just going to leave it at 128. It should be fine. 64 megs of RAM this motherboard supports in 16 1 meg and 4 meg configuration there, so we can do 16 or 64. Got lots of slots there. So I got 8 on each side there. And right now there's 4 in it, 4 megabytes. It had 8. The other 8 were 60 nanoseconds. They didn't work. I tried those in another motherboard. They didn't work in there either. So I haven't exactly thrown them away. They're living down there. But if they don't work on anything else, 60 nanoseconds on a 30-pin SIM is kind of rare to find anyway. So that's where we're at so far with this motherboard. This is an all ISA build, as I said. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while. And the video card we've got for this thing is, as I get it out of this really tight slot here, I don't think I can do this one-handed. Let's just turn it like that. This is the Diamond Speedstar 64, and these are very hard to come by cards. This is, you know, something I just happened to stumble across a couple of years ago, and they were hard to find then, and they're even harder to find now. This card was made in 1996, has 2 meg of RAM on it there. Some of these came with a socketed option. In fact, you can see the outline right there. So you could buy the 1 meg card, you upgrade it to 2. This just had the 2 on it, so no socket. This has the Cirrus Logic GD5434, which I've only ever seen on PCI cards. 64-bit, true color, all that fancy stuff. This is the newest ISA video card that I'm aware of. I don't know if it's the fastest, but I think it's probably overall the best, which is why it's rare and hard to come by. And being made in 1996, it was definitely well after ISA cards had already left the market pretty much there, except for modems and maybe a couple sound cards here and there, but for the most part you didn't use ISA for video cards at that point. Statson.org actually lists this motherboard as being, the company is American Predator Corporation, something like that. I don't know why, because it's Deco, something like that on there, and up on the silk screening right here. So I think I've got this motherboard taken care of. I don't have another capacitor to replace this one, and what's left of the legs is just too short to solder or anything, so I'm going to hope that doesn't matter and just kind of let it go until it does matter. It's going to be going into this case right here, this big delicious tower of power. Let me just zoom out there a little bit. There's not much wide angle on this camcorder. Not really much of a thing at all. Turn on some more light here. Okay. So what we have here is my dad's old computer that I've just kept. It's had a lot of things in it over the years. This is it's an Insight tower of power, where it was originally a 46DX50 ISA 212 or 250 something or another megabyte Western Digital hard drive. We put this multimedia kit in it, which that drive has pretty much always been in this case, and I'd have no reason to change it out. We have a chocolate floppy drive, which is going to remain for right now because I don't have any vanilla chocolate drives, white chocolate drives, marshmallow chocolate drives, I don't have any of those just laying around. They're all like in cases, like, down there and under there behind the keyboard, and I got another one right down here, right there, but I'm not digging those out, so they'll just remain. If it bothers me too much, I've got a can of Krylon we can take care of that with. This is a hard drive that's in there now. I don't know what size it is, but this is vented for your pleasure. We're going to be putting the 5 1/4 back in there. That's not original to this computer, but I've been saving it for this particular reason. This floppy drive, I could use it. It works, but it's got those rounded corners on it, so it's, I think, really intended for those Gateway 2000 computers with the rounded corners on the drives. You know what I'm talking about, right? And this motherboard is hopefully pretty fast, although my experience has been the Symphony chips that didn't exactly benchmark the greatest, but it's called the Predator, right? So it's got to be good. Under here is a computer shopper, which, look at that, just happens to be featuring this exact tower of power. My dad originally ordered this as a DX33. They shipped it with a 50. He told them and they said, oh well, congratulations, you got a better chip. Have a nice day. So we'll take a look at this in that capacity down the road, but for right now, for this video, we're going to get that motherboard into this case and do Windows and maybe a little bit of gaming. So we'll see you back here in just a switch swash and whatever thing animation feature I've got selected here, because I don't really know, honestly. Just a minute, guys. Alright, current situation. Got all the RAM slots populated. All 16 megabytes worth there. Let's test the zoom on this camera. There we go, look at that. So that's nice. 128K of cache will do up to 32 meg of RAM, support 32 meg of RAM. And right through, right back, it's half that. I don't know what this is doing per se, for sure, but I'm going to assume it's right through, given the age and the fact that there's no adjustment in the BIOS for said functionality. Of course, that's completely invisible to the camcorder there, but that's the DOS screen. I don't know if I can zoom in and it'll work better or not. Probably not. Guess you can kind of see that, but you have to trust me. The 540 meg hard drive is installed, and you can hear it going. The 840 meg drive, the Western Digital, just gave me a hard drive controller failure message. So it's up in the air right now whether or not the BIOS actually supports said drive, or whether the drive is bad. I don't think the drive is bad, but I'm gonna have to figure out a test, test it later on at some other Lego setup on the desk. And but anyway, you can see that the controller does work despite the dismemberment of that capacitor that's nearby that connector. So hopefully that just has something to do with that 8-bit slot right over there. Yeah, right in there, which we won't be using anyway. I don't know. It's working without it, so we're just going to call that good for now. Putting this together on the bench is a good way to test everything, and that's what I've decided to do, since we've got a lot of things that have been an issue. Before we go in putting it in the case, I just want to make sure that things are at least somewhat working at this point, and then I can blame the installation for when it doesn't work. Alright, we'll cut you back in a minute here when I got, I guess we'll just put this in the case at this point, because there's not really anything left to test, really. It's booted into DOS. It's booted into Doscember, and so, alright, we'll be back. This thing will actually end it. Ooh, look at that effect. Isn't that special? Well, let's just get the light over here a little bit like that and down. Okay, so motherboard is in. Yes, it is. I realized when I was putting this together that I didn't talk about the sound card yet in this video, so here it is. As the chair creaks. The nice Opti there. Got a Q DSP thing. We've got a synthwave make it happener chip up here. And some ROM something or another looks like to me. Another ROM BIOS something or another chip there. We've got our IDE controller. This is what's called a Mega Image 32. Whatever that means. So that's what we've got for this. I think it's a brand new card actually. I just took it out of its little bag. Let's take a look at the pins real quick here. You can always tell if a card's new by if the pins have a little scrape mark on them. The little gold always has a little telltale sign of it being shoved in a slot. I don't see anything on these. So I'm going to say that's a new card because they look clean. But you get right up on this stuff with this camcorder. That's kind of cool being as old as it is. Creaky, plasticky as it is. Anyway, there's no volume control. I thought this had a volume control on it. Oh. But nope. So hope it works. I'll probably just shove my CD audio plug into the Sony connector there, unless I happen to just conveniently have the right connector sitting in the pile there. But yeah, so that's where we're at so far. There's the shot of the delicious Speedstar 64. All of its Cirrus Logic glory. Yeah, I chose that slot for a very specific reason. I don't know if it matters, but on the back side of the motherboard, these traces, it looks like the primary run of traces from one of the chips over here, one of the chipsets. We like chips. And the way they do these, if you look at the traces, that they generally have one, and then they just kind of, veer off from there. So it's kind of almost like a built-in riser card. You got one riser, and then they just kind of fan out from there. So I'm just putting the video card in the slot closest to where it looks like the main trace run is. I don't know if that makes a difference in performance, but why not, right? I mean, it's not going to hurt anything. That's going to just get in the way and cause all kinds of problems. I've also got the computer on this nice swivel base, so I can just kind of go like this, work on it. Those work out really nice. So that's where we're at so far, and let's see if we can, well, let's see if this works in the next shot here. I'm kind of curious myself, actually. Bye-bye. Whoosh, and like that we are back. We're nearing the home stretch of assembly, and the 840 meg drive wasn't going to work. This is a 1.2 gigabyte Gibbles and Bits. Yeah, it's from 1997, but I'm going to use this, nice and quiet, I'm going to use this for my storage drive, and the motherboard does not translate above 540 megabytes, but I was able to format it anyway, which I'm sure this won't be able to show you that because of the flicker. All 1.2 gigabytes, and if anyone's interested on how to do that without drive overlay software, I'll maybe do a video about that in the future if I get enough requests. Not very difficult. So that's going to be the storage drive, and the C drive is going to be this guy, which is actually the original hard drive that was in this system from back in the day. And as you can see, it's dated August 1993, So that's a pretty good indication as to when this system was originally built, because typically the hard drives that computer builders have are usually pretty close to around the same time when the system was actually being built. So, you know, maybe September, October, somewhere in there, this was probably assembled. But this is going to go in the system. I hope that's still good. I think it is. It's just been sitting on my shelf. So that's going to be the boot drive for DOS and Windows and drivers and things like that, and then the other one's going to be for the game storage. And just need to put those in the system and all that fun stuff. So we'll be back. Woo! Well, I've got the system working here. I gotta say, this is quite an interesting refresh roll thing going on here. I don't know if I've ever seen that. It's kind of cool looking on the camera here. So as you can see, I've got solitaire there. Ooh, that's pretty cool. I like that effect. No, it's not really doing that in real life, but I've never seen that before on a camera. Usually it's just all kinds of flickery. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. So we got the system up and going. One issue I've got the sound card installed. One issue I have had so far since doing that is I did get a parity error system halted message in Windows. I had parity error checking turned on in the BIOS and it wasn't saying anything, so I turned that off. So far Windows hasn't bugged me about that, but it was also when I was playing audio with the audio player for the sound card. So yeah, it may come back. We'll find out. So let's just go ahead and shed some light on the subject here. Am I zoomed out all the way? Yes, I am. Okay, so the sound card is installed, and I had to get drivers from Vogons, and I'm not exactly sure I've got all the drivers either, because there's other people that have this sound card that are in question about the QDSP chip that's on here, which is the magical synthwave chip. This is apparently goes by a couple different names. Media Magic 32. It says Mega Media 32 on the sticker on this particular card. There's another variant that does it's like called the Mad 16 or something, which is what this driver is for. But it's for this Octi 82C930 chip, which is right over there. Probably can't see it. And I don't know if it's enabling the retro wave synth chip or not there. We got two MXs of RAM there and a couple different ROM chips here which probably hold the wave synth files, but that's going to be figure it out later. The intention of this video is just to build a system for a Doscember, and we have done that, and it is up and going. I have not installed the video drivers yet. I got to download those, but I've got the system up and going. The 212 meg hard drive, the original hard drive, plus the 1.2 gigabyte that's been added to the system for extra storage. I think that's definitely era appropriate. Although 1.2 would have been damned expensive back when this system was built, and I'm guessing, I'm going to say this is a 1994 era build here. Early 94. Very late 93, early 94. The motherboard BIOS is dated 92, so it could go either way on that. The nice thing about these sound cards is that it is, this particular one, this Opti one, the driver is made for that particular CD-ROM that I have in there. The reveal drive, in fact, it even shows it's a Gold Star CD-ROM actually. with the reveal logo on the front of it. It's like a Gold Star 540 or something like that, technically. So, and I did paint the floppy drive white. I left the button black. I think that looks kind of cool. We'll do a more in-depth overview of this system once I've got the little kinks and quirks worked out of it. But I've had no problems with this. The capacitor that's got decapitated, dismembered, and not causing a problem with anything. Hard drives work fine. I got both the hard drives are daisy chained off of this one cable right here. This motherboard does actually support 66 megahertz bus, and I'm also thinking that because of that it may actually support 80 as well, because it's got the 33, 20, 40 and a 25/50 jumper right here. That it may I don't have any chip that would run at that, but I was able to run this chip at 66 megahertz for a brief time. I got a benchmark score of 140 with SpeedSys, or not SpeedSys, Top Bench score of 140. Right now, Top Bench is scoring about 108 as it sits. That's about all I've been able to tweak out of this system, and I can actually get more. I can get to about 120 if I put the cache wait state to 0. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to switch that out to 15 nanosecond cache. And so I don't know if I'm going to do that. We'll see. But it is capable of running at 66 megahertz bus though, so it could have been that cache that's why it froze up, not the processor. But anyway, that's where we're at so far, guys. So let me turn the camera around here. Alright guys, that'll do it for this video of building the 486DX50 All-ISIS system, and using vintage VHS-C JVC camcorder to do it. I think that's 1991, or not 91, 2001, old enough. So it doesn't look too bad. I just finished watching it there. It's alright. There's some areas that it's weird because it looks brighter and sharper in the viewfinder than it does when you actually look at the video tape playback. But of course that's also going through composite capture. I did capture at 720p, which was overkill because I'm not sure that's even 480. That's probably like 240 maybe, but most of the times. I do have a video VHS that is S-video, but I'd have to get one of those cassette adapters to put the tape into. Yeah, if I try this again I might do that. Let's go hunting around on eBay so I can find a cheap one. But so if you guys like this video and a little bit of a retro way of doing it, we'll take a look at this computer in more of a more in-depth. I've got it. That's it right there. Might as well see it in better resolution, right? Better quality. I'm only recording this video in 720p, so don't get your knickers all excited there. And there's fronts over there. Hopefully I'm getting that in the camera because I'm using my front-facing camera and I don't know what it looks like. I can't see where I'm facing it. So, all right, guys, thank you very much for watching, and we'll do more videos on this next year, and we will see you then. Peace out, everybody. And I do have some projects coming up, some testing and stuff, and someone on YouTube reminded me of something that I actually forgotten to do. So we're also going to be looking at that very, very soon. All right, guys, peace out. Talk to you later. Woo!